The Alter Rebbe got out of prison. It's called the Rosh Hashanah for Chassidus. Okay, Torah Or, Vayishlach, page Chafei, first column. Let's see exactly where we live. Well, it's all part of the original Maimer of Vayishlach Yaakov. Okay, 1 second. Okay, we're in 10 lines from the top of the page. Okay, now the Rebbe is explaining that Yaakov Avinu wanted to elevate Esau. He wanted to be mamshich the Eretz of Teihu into Tikkun. That wasn't ready yet, so Yaakov said, okay, I'm going to do it myself. So he brought the mincha, those karbonis that were from the world of Teihu. Because like it says, they weren't shechted. A korban has to be kosher animal, has to be shechted, everything got it done correctly. Yaakov Avinu said gemalim, which are treif, because they come from the world of Tehu. Plus he didn't shecht them, he sent them alive. So why? Because the kelim of being mamshech Tehu has to be kelim that are shaykh to Tehu. Right? Not all the diktukim, the details, the million details of halacha. So he says like this. Should be taken aris muatim, l'chein, like 10 lines in the top of the page. L'chein, ha-teira shenimshachas misham. Teira that comes from the level of tikkun, he gamkim because diktukim it's tzimtzumim. Also has all these different levels. There's a lot of details in Teira. Every mitzvah has a detail, every halacha has a detail. You can't just L'chein, mefurish b'teira say the Allah's man the tikkun. Hakel b'diktukim. Therefore, the Torah, because mitzvahs is to elevate the world of tikkun. If mitzvahs are to elevate the world of tikkun, so then there has to be a keli of tikkun. So there has to be details, tzimtzumim, shomishvit ma'aser karban, which are all the laws following how to bring a karban. That has to be from behemoth to hayred, and only gimel mine behemoth levad, only 3 types of kosher animals. And it has to be shchutim dafka, they have to be shachted. There's many dinim, that the korban becomes disqualified through it. Also, as far as the way to bring the korban, how it is, there's a lot of details. Why? Because the whole Torah, in fact, Torah itself is, like we know, Hashem had to tzimtzum, he had to limit his chokhmah to come into a level that people can understand it. Because Torah comes to the level of tikkun. Where there's a limited art in the keli, therefore there's many tzimtzum diktukim. Which, by the way, explains another thing. The Alter Rebbe explained before the difference between Tehu and tikkun. Tehu is only 2 kavim, and tikkun is 3 kavim. The number 3, like he explained, represents the unity between 1 and 2. That's why, like we learned many times, the whole emphasis of Torah is the number 3. B'chodesh hashlishi, the Gemara says, B'rech Rachmanu gave Urin Tliso, Lam Tliso, B'yemet Tliso. There's a threefold Torah in the V'yim Ksuvim. There's Kainim Levim Yisraelim on the 3rd day. Everything, and Rabbeinu Nissen, like we said in the side of the Gemara in Shabbos, where it says another 10, 15 things that are 3. Moshe has 3 letters, Levi has 3 letters, Moshe was the 3rd child. I mean, a whole bunch of 3s. Why? Because the whole Torah inyan is tikkun. So it's number 3, not Tehu. Tehu is 2. Avol Yaakov helo man, the bechinas hamakar the Tehu. But now that Yaakov was dealing with Esau, and he said, if I can't bring mamshech Esau's Tehu and tikkun, so I have to try it myself. So therefore, he was Yaakov Avinu on these karbonis that he sent was a kelim of Tehu, which is God the bechinas Saint Sov shalachen yochla kelim achilay. The carbon, the keli can handle it, and it remains makiv. Therefore, he sent behemoths to meis gmalim menikas. V'kulam ayu chayim v'lo yishchutim. And all the animals, he said, if it's a carbon, you should shech them. He didn't say kill them. He didn't shech them. He sent them live. Because this, we're talking about Tehu, which is not mitzumtzum, not limited, it's bli gvul. Lochein ein shama tzimtzum v'tuktukim. Therefore, there's no detail in it. Kein tzav baruch hu kol yachol is balakil. So therefore, because Hashem himself is above tzimtzum and above not tzimtzum. So therefore, Hashem can handle all those areas of Tehu that a lot of Kalim limited, a lot of Or limited Kalim. By Hashem, it doesn't matter. He can handle Tmeim, he can handle Ta'idim, he can handle anything. Like the Gemara says, Baal Chazir, Sha'os Lachzer, why, the Gemara says, why is it called Chazir? Or the Medrash says really. Why is it called Chazir? From the word Lahachzir. Because eventually when Mashiach comes, Chazir is going to be kosher. Why? Because La'os La'avash Yivul Amavis L'Netzach. Like it's a Ruach HaTumah Avim and others, when Mashiach Tcham, especially Tchitz HaMesim. When evil will be removed from the world, and then what will be revealed is Gala Atzma Saint Sof, then will be revealed the infinite level of Elokus, then Chazir will also be a Gam Chalisalis Mashen Kenata. Now Chazir can be elevated because the Shalshkim said to Meis, and therefore it's forbidden because we can't elevate it. But when evil doesn't exist anymore, and then we're going to be able to elevate it, so then it's going to be allowed to be. In other words, like we learned many times, put it into a one-liner, so to speak. Things that the Torah forbids now to eat is because we can't elevate it. Therefore, if you can't elevate it, because it's bound to evil, therefore Torah forbids it. Those things that we could elevate, that means the spark of Kedusha is not bound to the forbidden thing, therefore we can elevate it. Therefore it's called Asur, means bound, and Mutter means unbound. Mater Asur. So therefore those things that you can elevate, and this explains another concept, by the way. There are certain things in the olden times were allowed, Minatayra was allowed, and then the Chachamim forbade it. Like for instance, meat and milk and chicken. Minatayra, chicken and milk is allowed. Because it says, chickens don't have mother's milk. Yeah? That means until the Chacham, whoever it was, asked it, that means the Jew was able to eat chicken and milk, make a bracha. Well, there were no brachas, but they're able to eat it and elevate it. As the Yeridas Adeiras came down, lower and lower, so then the Chachamim saw that the Jews don't have an ability to elevate chicken and milk. So therefore it became forbidden. There were never things so, and probably that were forbidden and now they became kosher. What? Okay, it only happens the other way. Why? Because now the world, as it gets lower, is not able to elevate those things. If they're not able to elevate it, the Chacham said you're not allowed to eat it. Therefore, Yaakov that sent this gift to Esau, which has a lost man of Makif the tail. Shalach Gamkin Dvarim B'Teilim, Atmeim, he sent tray for things. They come from a higher level of tail.
You have kosher animals in
there. There were. But he also sent, why did he send that? Because he wanted to make a kelim for tail. So he sent things in the world of tail.
And the ones that were kosher?
What?
And the ones that were kosher?
From Tikkun also. Like it says, and therefore Gemalim minikis, ki adrab, shoshin shel Gemalim, is Ma'ed Naila, camels are very lofty level, like it said by Eliezer Eved Avram. He took Asara Gemalim, he took Yud Gemalim, Migmali Adonov, V'chol Tuv Adonov B'yadei, where like it says, Gamol Alai Imai, like his mother had pity on him. So Gemalim comes from a level, calls Allah Yachol Lasis Rak Yaakov V'Kedem Matan Teda. Who is able to send that as a korban to Esau? Only Yaakov Avinu, because of his greatness, and only before Matan Teda, when it wasn't forbidden yet. Before Matan Teda, you're allowed to eat gumbo. After Matan Teda, then they couldn't send it anymore, we couldn't do it. And again, the fact that it's treif shows that it comes from a higher level of Kedusha than those things which are kosher to eat. That means it fell down so low we can't even elevate it. But we already got the Torah from the level of Tikkun. And therefore, Mashu Tameh Vasapi Torah. What's Tameh and Asa according to Torah? Meruchik is distant. And therefore we can't. And not only that, because it's the nefesh. If a Jew eats chaylev, the non-kosher fats of the animal, you get kodesh. Why? Because we can't elevate it. Okay? So bottom line, and so far, he's continuing, it's new psukim, but it's still the same mimer. So he says, what did Yaakov Avinu wanted to accomplish? He wanted to accomplish elevate Teil. He tried with Esau, it didn't go, so he tried it himself. And it still didn't go. Huh? Okay, then it says in the pasuk.
The chelek is nikra on the mizbeach.
Huh?
There is elevation of the chelek.
Only on the mizbeach. But not, you can't eat it. I mean, you can't eat dam also, they brought dam in the mizbeach. It wasn't asur b'ano, it was just asur b'achila. Okay, then the next pasuk of here says like this. V'yakom b'laylahu, Yaakov Avinu got up, v'yikach shtei noshe v'yavos ma'ber yabek. He crossed the bridge to the other side. V'yikochem, he took him v'yavirim es hanachal. So it says, yabek, yeah, ma'aver yabek. So it says, yabek is Rosh Tevis, yichud, bracha, v'kedusha. Yabek, Yud Beis Kuf, is yichud, bracha, v'kedusha. What does it mean? And he took him, me'aver yabek, the other side. So it says, okay, it says in the pasuk about Avram Avinu, we say it in the Haggadah Shopes, all right? And the other side of the Nahar was where Avram came from. It says like this, Nahar is the level of Bina. Kabbalistically, Nahar has Bina. Why? Like it says, Nahar Yitzim Eden. Eden is a level of Chachma. Nahar Yitzim Eden, so the river is the level of Bina. Then he says, where did the Avis come from? Meaning, where is the Shadish of the Avis? From a level Me'evel Anar, higher than the level of Bina. Shadish Avis Me'evel Anar, which is the level of Keser, which is a Maila Minar, which is higher than Bina. Rak Shemisham, from that level, Nim Shecho Avis and Ishbul Lamata. They came to the other side, which is Zav Atzilis. Meaning like this. We know Avram Yitzchak and Yaakov is Chesed Gvur Teferes. Chesed Gvur Teferes, which is a level of the Zod, the 6 feet of Atzilus, right? The first 3 is Chesed Gvur Teferes. So that's where they come down here. Yaakov, Avram is Chesed, Yitzchak is Gvur, Yaakov is Teferes. But where do they come from? Eva and Nor, higher even than the level of Bina. Bina is the mother of the Midas. So they didn't come from Bina. They came from a level higher than Bina, which is Keser, which is a level completely higher than the world. So now Yaakov Avinu again wanted to bring down the level of Teo higher than the world, higher than Atzilus. First he had to laver Sanor. He had to go across the Nord, meaning he had to go across the level of Bina back to Keser, which is where the Nord comes from. Vazel Yaver Yabek, which is Yichud Bracha Kedusha, Hakol B'chinas Nor, all of it comes from the level of Nor, which are Yod and Nimshel Kol Hashbos, V'Yichud Eretz Yonim. That's the source of all the holy revelations. Like it said, V'Nor Yitzim Me'eden Lashkis Sagan. Therefore, when Yaakov Avinu went on the other side of the Nor, now that Yaakov Avinu reached the other side of the Nor, meaning he reached Kesed, then so now that he reached a level higher than Atzilus, he wasn't too far from the Makav of Teil.
This makes more sense than that tzaddikim love their money and they have to look after the jars to elevate it.
If you listened to the class Monday night, we explained it's not only because tzaddikim love the money, because Yaakov Avinu is teaching us a lesson that there's nothing in the world that's insignificant. If something was given to you by Hashem, whether it's time or place or whatever it may be, in Gashmias, Hashem gave it to you that you should utilize it to the fullest.
It's precious.
And if you're going to waste things, waste time, a minute here, a minute there, or things, objects, and waste them, then you're not fulfilling the mission that you were created for. So therefore, that's why is the Torah is telling. Why is the Torah telling us? Who cares what happened 3,500 or 4,000 years ago? The answer is that Shtebish is teaching us that Pachim Ktanim, and what happened from that? Because he stayed on that side, the Malach fought with him. Because of that, he changed from Yaakov to Yisrael. What caused that? The Pachim Ktanim, seemingly the insignificant things that he was able to accomplish. So it's not stam that tzaddikim love the money more than themselves, like Jack Benny. You know what I mean? Tzaddikim they understand anything Hashem gave them, there's nothing to waste. There's no waste, not time, not money, not in objects, whatever. So therefore, Vayaves Asher Loi Kol Mashet Tikun Hela Kol Usham, whatever, like you said before, when Yaakov left Lavan, he said, Lavan Garti, that means Tikun, he elevated. So now he took everything, Kol Asher Loi, which is Tikun, what he got in the house of Lavan, like he explained before, now he elevated it, Me'ever Anor, to bring it to the level of Teil. Achu Ba'atman Nishel Lemata Dayin, but he stayed down here. He took everything over, then he came back by himself. With Vayivasi Yaakov Levadi. Kirotza Levirus Esau, which is Adayim B'Shvira. He was still in the level of Shvira, which is Vayavik Ish Imei. That's the level of Vayavik Ish Imei. That the man, Esau, fought with him. Yaakov wanted to elevate something which was very difficult to elevate. And therefore you can have opposition. Therefore the rule is, the more opposition somebody has to doing something good, it means it's more important for them to do it. Because if it would be less important for them to do it, why would Hashem make such an opposition? Take the Gemara, when the Gemara discusses what's greater, the one who's commanded to do mitzvahs and does it, or one who's not commanded to do mitzvahs. So initially the Gemara thought, one who's not commanded to do it and does it is greater. Look, he's not even commanded to do it, then he does it. But then the Gemara finalizes, Godel mitzvah v'Esau. Why? What's why, Taka? So the answer is, if you're not commanded to do it, the Yetzer Hara doesn't get in the way to stop you. What does he care? You don't have to do it anyway. It's optional. Optional, so you do it optional, big deal. Once you're commanded to do a mitzvah, that's when the powers of evil get stronger. So if a Yid wants to know if something is right or not, the more opposition there is, the greater the accomplishment. Once American Shlichus in Texas, my friend and I, somebody told us out of the clear blue that in an army base in El Paso, outside El Paso, there's a secret group of Israeli soldiers in training. We don't even know who told it to us. Anyway, we came to the base, we met the chaplain, the Jewish chaplain in the base. We told him we want to meet those Israelis, and he said, wow. He came back and we told him, but we heard they're here, check it out. Anyway, first he said he checked out by one person, he said, no, they're not here. So he said, the guy was away, man, missed 3 hours. We're thinking already just leaving. The guy got lost. Anyway, finally he came back and he said, yeah, come, we'll take you to them. Like maybe 20 Israelis, Chevra. We put tefillin on with them. We had such an unbelievable farbrengen with them, But everybody in the base said, how did you guys know that? Anyway, we got back to New York. We told our friend who was involved with Israelis, the government, the UN and all those ambassadors and stuff. We told him what happened. So next time he was speaking to the top Israeli guys in America, he said to them, my friends were by that. They were shocked. They said, how did you know about that? Nobody knew. It was top secret. He said, how did they find out that there's Israelis, top secret Israeli military guys training at that base? They were shocked. How do we know? They should have told us. We don't know how we knew. Somebody told us. Like Derech Hagav, somebody said. So we when we were waiting for the 3 hours, we were talking, so let's get out of here already. And we both decided, you know what? If the Elam Vahester is so strong, it got to be something special. And it was. But that's the whole, when something is more difficult to accomplish, why did they wish to make it more difficult? That's why the whole thing with Yaakov and Esau, with all the difficulties, because Yaakov wanted to elevate Esau. Now normally, and again, like the Alter Rebbe said, it was before Matan Torah, and it was Yaakov Avinu. After Matan Torah, we can't elevate those things of Torah which are forbidden. Yaakov Avinu wanted, the Eibishter said no, because it wasn't the time yet, because it had to be Aved the Tachtenim of Golus, and the procedures, the system. It had to be first base of marriage Churban, second base of marriage Golus. There has to be this protocol, so to speak, to make it the way Hashem wants it to happen. Aved Tachtenim, we doing it in darkness, and the more darkness it is, the more important it is to do Torah mitzvahs, because the opposition is greater. Okay, so therefore,
If I think is there any connection between the Mincha and what Rashi says regarding intimacy?
with Rashi, with the intimacy is also Yichud Zachon Nekeva is Lamaila, very deep Yichudim of Kedusha. Kedusha B'Rechot Shchinte. Huh?
Level of Makiv?
Yeah, but the Makiv and the previous. That's why the Rebbe Rashab explains in the Maimorim he said by the Friedrich Rebbe's wedding, the chuppah is a level of Makiv. Okay, then it comes into Pnimi. Hashpa Pnimi, the Chosin and Kala, right, with intimacy. That starts by the Chosin covers the Kala, Badakanish. That's the Kirv Chitzeni, and that allows the Kirv Pnimi of the chuppah, which is Mamish Makiv. But he says over there that the koyach ha'in sof that parents have to give birth, yesh mi'ayin, is a koyach ha'in sof. Right? This the infinite. In Gashmias, it's not real yesh mi'ayin, but to a certain extent, there's two things that are real yesh mi'ayin. Childbirth, and you put a seed in the ground, it germinates, it rots, and then it comes a tree. That's also a form of, not real yesh mi'ayin, but in Gashmias, the two examples of real yesh mi'ayin, so to speak, is Haylada and Tzmicha, things growing. Now, where do parents get the Koyach Ein Sof to create Yesh Mi'ayin, not only Yesh Mi'ayin temporarily, L'Eilam Boyd, because they have children, have children, have children, have children. So it's Ein Sof. Where did he get the Koyach Haylada Ein Sof? It's from the Chuppah. The Makif level, which is Nimshach by the Chuppah. And you have the Shava Brachos, which is bringing it into the 7 Midas. It's a whole, yes, it's all connected. The Kerech for a Jew to be able to do that is the Kerech Ein Sof. So now, Yidden can only elevate those things from Tikkun that the Torah allows. You can't elevate Chazir. You can make a bracha 10 times on Chazir, and eat it l'shem shemayim, you're still not elevating it. And not only that, the koyach that you get, this mitzvah b'aveda, Shulchan Aruch says, the Alter Rebbe uses the expression, ain't a mitzvah klal. It's not at all a mitzvah. Why? Because you can't have a mitzvah of Kedusha coming from Klippa. Under normal circumstances, before after Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah was Shaykh. Lot and his two daughters created David HaMelech and Mashiach. Mashiach says. Moshe Rabbeinu, like we learned, Moshe Rabbeinu was a nephew with Amram Yocheved, was a nephew with an aunt, which is now it would be a mamzer. Therefore, the Medrash says by Matan Torah, Taka Amram Yocheved divorced. That's why the two guys, the Eldad and Meidad, the two guys, Eldad and Meidad. There's a different midrashim. There are Yocheved's kids that should be married after Matan Torah, Amram's kids, whatever. But how do such great things come? Because before Matan Torah was Shaykh. It says here, Yaakov Avinu, before Matan Torah, wanted to do it. The Eibishter didn't want it because it's not the time yet. Just like when Yitzchak wanted to bench Esau because he wanted to elevate Yitzchak, and the Eibishter said it's not, he wanted to elevate Esau. Hashem said it's not the time now.
Before Matan Torah, Klipo had a power to be.
Klipa, yeah. Esau wasn't powerful.
That's such a high.
Nimrod wasn't powerful.
Mashiach is coming from.
No.
So before Matan Torah, Klipa had such a power to be the source of Mashiach.
Yeah.
Yehuda and Tamar.
Yeah. All those things. But after Matan Torah, it's not possible. In fact, they said what was the sin of Adam Arishan with the Chatei Tzadas? Why did he do it? Adam Arishan, Tzikap of Shakash Baruch Hu. So it says, before the Chatei Tzadas, the Eitz Tzadas was Klipa. Shosh Chitzateres, and don't eat it. It's forbidden, yeah? Adam Arishan thought he was great enough to elevate Shosh Chitzateres. That's why it says in Kabbalah Chassidus. Why did Adam Arishan eat? Because he thought he can elevate even Shosh Chitzateres. The problem is, so the problem is only a Rebbe could elevate Shosh Chitzateres. The Gemara says in Erevin, Adam Rishon Chosid Gadol Haya. The Gemara says Adam Rishon was a great Chosid, he wasn't a Rebbe. His problem was he thought he was a Rebbe, he could do it, but he couldn't.